In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills and vast meadows, there lived a young man named Jack. Jack was known for his bright smile and kind heart. He worked at a local factory and spent his evenings helping his neighbors with small chores. Life in this small town was simple and peaceful, and Jack was content. Jack had a loving family, a doting mother named Mary, a hardworking father named Tom, and a little sister named Lily. The family shared a modest home filled with laughter and warmth. On weekends, they would gather in the garden, enjoying picnics and playing games. The unexpected turn. One fateful evening, as Jack was making his way home from work, he noticed dark clouds gathering ominously in the sky. The once clear and serene sky was now covered with a thick blanket of storm clouds, and the air was heavy with the promise of an impending storm. Jack quickened his pace, hoping to reach home before the rain began to pour. However, the storm that was brewing was not just in the sky. As Jack approached his neighborhood, he saw a scene that filled him with dread. Fire trucks and ambulances surrounded his home, their lights flashing urgently. Panic surged through Jack as he broke into a run. The sight that greeted him was his worst nightmare. His beloved home engulfed in flames, the fire raging uncontrollably. The neighbors stood helplessly by, their faces pale with shock and horror. Jack's heart pounded in his chest as he desperately searched for his family. The firefighters were doing their best, battling the fierce blaze, but it was clear that the fire had spread too quickly. Jack's world came crashing down as he realized the unimaginable truth. His family was trapped inside the burning house. Despite the firefighters' efforts, it was too late. The fire had consumed everything, leaving Jack standing in the ashes of his former life, overwhelmed with grief and disbelief. The depths of despair. In the days that followed, Jack was enveloped in a fog of sorrow and disbelief. The loss of his family was a wound too deep to heal, leaving him feeling hollow and broken. The once vibrant and lively town now seemed like a ghost town filled with painful memories and echoes of his past happiness. Jack moved into a small apartment provided by the community, but the new surroundings felt alien and unwelcoming. The four walls of the apartment seemed to close in on him, amplifying his sense of loneliness and isolation. Everyday activities that once brought him comfort and joy now seemed meaningless. Jack struggled to eat, sleep, or even think clearly. The weight of his grief was unbearable, pressing down on him like a heavy shroud. Friends and neighbors tried to reach out, offering their condolences and support, but Jack withdrew from everyone, unable to face the world. He felt disconnected from the life he once knew, adrift in a sea of sorrow. The silence of his apartment was deafening, a constant reminder of the emptiness that now filled his heart. The glimmer of hope. One evening, as Jack sat alone in his apartment, staring blankly at the ceiling, he noticed an old photo album among the few belongings he had salvaged from the fire. With trembling hands, he picked it up and began to flip through the pages. Each photograph told a story of happier times, family gatherings, holidays, and everyday moments filled with laughter and love. Tears streamed down Jack's face as he remembered the joy and warmth that had once filled his life. Amidst the sorrow, Jack felt a spark of something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. He realized that his family would not want him to live in despair. They would want him to find a way to move forward, to honor their memory by living a life they would be proud of. This realization gave Jack a newfound sense of determination. He decided that he needed to make a change, to find a way to heal and rebuild his life. With a deep breath, Jack resolved to take the first step towards a new beginning. The first step. Determined to leave behind the town that held so many painful memories, Jack packed his few belongings and set off for the city, hoping to find a fresh start. The city, with its towering buildings and bustling streets, was a stark contrast to the quiet town he had known all his life. The constant noise and activity were overwhelming at first, making Jack feel like a small fish in a vast ocean. But he was resolute in his decision to move forward. Jack found a job at a small cafe, a cozy place that served as a haven for city dwellers looking for a respite from the hustle and bustle. The work was hard, involving long hours and demanding customers, but it kept his mind occupied. Slowly, Jack began to interact with his coworkers and the regular customers. These interactions, though initially challenging, helped him feel a sense of connection and purpose once again. He started to see the city not as a place of chaos, but as a place of opportunity where he could build a new life. The road to redemption. Jack knew he couldn't navigate his journey alone. He reached out to a support group for people who had lost loved ones. The group met weekly in a community center, providing a safe space for sharing and healing. Sharing his story with others who had experienced similar losses helped Jack realize he wasn't alone in his pain. The group's members, though strangers at first, became a source of strength and comfort. They understood his grief in a way no one else could. One day, while walking through a park, Jack saw a group of children playing on a playground. Their laughter and carefree joy reminded him of his sister Lily, who had always been the light of his life. He felt a pang of sadness, but also a surge of determination. Jack decided he wanted to make a difference in the lives of children who might be facing their own struggles. He wanted to give them the love and support that he had once received from his own family. Giving back. Jack started volunteering at a local community center, helping with after-school programs for children. The center was a vibrant place, filled with the sounds of children playing, laughing, and learning. Jack taught them how to play sports, helped with their homework, and listened to their stories. The children, in turn, brought a new sense of joy and purpose into Jack's life. They adored him, seeing him as a mentor and friend. One little girl named Emily stood out to Jack. She was shy and withdrawn at first, often sitting alone and avoiding the other children. Jack's kindness and patience slowly brought her out of her shell. He spent extra time with her, encouraging her to participate in activities and helping her build confidence. Seeing Emily smile and watching her make friends filled Jack's heart with warmth. He realized that by helping these children, he was also healing his own wounds. Finding purpose. As the years passed, Jack became more involved in the community. He organized fundraisers and events to support children in need. His cafe job turned into a managerial position, and he used his earnings to support the community center. Jack's story spread, and people were inspired by his journey from tragedy to triumph. He was invited to speak at events, sharing his story of loss and redemption. His words touched many hearts, giving hope to those who were struggling. A new beginning. One day, Jack was approached by a woman named Sarah, who ran a charity for families affected by fires. She had heard about Jack's story and wanted him to join her team. Jack accepted the offer, seeing it as another way to honor his family's memory. Working with Sarah and her team, Jack helped countless families rebuild their lives after devastating fires. He provided emotional support, organized fundraisers, and even helped with the physical rebuilding of homes. Full circle. Years later, Jack stood in front of a newly built house, handing the keys to a family who had lost everything in a fire. The look of gratitude in their eyes brought tears to his own. He saw his past self in them, and he knew he had come full circle. Jack had turned his tragedy into triumph, finding redemption in helping others. He had built a new life, filled with purpose and love. Though he still missed his family every day, he knew they would be proud of the man he had become. Epilogue. A legacy of hope. Jack's journey from despair to hope became a beacon for others. He continued to work tirelessly, ensuring that no one faced their struggles alone. His story was a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of turning tragedy into triumph. In the end, Jack found that even in the darkest of times, there is always a glimmer of hope. And with that hope, he had built a legacy that would live on, inspiring countless others to find their own paths to redemption.